It's She Slays, our International Women's Week specials. And for all of you who are listening in, you'd actually appreciate how powerful these women are, both in thought and deed. Please welcome today somebody who's part of She Slays Women's Entrepreneurs, somebody who's really gone on from strength to strength in a field that you need a lot of resources. I'm pleased to welcome Mohini Sharma. She's former Mrs. India and currently founder and director of Mrs. India Inc., the pageant. Hey Mohini, how are you? And very happy International Women's Day and International Women's Week to you.
Hi, Rishi. I'm good. Thank you so much. And happy Women's Day to you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Mohini, I want to start with life lessons. You know, people say that defeat teaches you a lot. Others say victory teaches you a lot. In your case, both loss as well as victory have taught you, and not only taught you, propelled you onto your career at the moment. Let's talk about your life. Let's perhaps start around about the time you won Mrs. World 2016.
So it was 2016 in India. The competition took place in Bangalore, Mrs. India World. That's when I won the national title, the title of Mrs. India World 2016. And that's when I had this opportunity of representing India on the world platform. Now, winning always gives you a confidence. Sometimes we do get overconfident. And I did prepare thoroughly, I did prepare completely to represent my country on world forum. It was least expected that I wouldn't even make it top five, but the preparation, the whole experience, the whole journey gave me a lot. And as you said, after winning, sometime losing is also essential because the experience that you have gained while you've won the journey, while you've achieved your destination, while you've achieved your goal, the experience can only be implemented after you lose on something or when you're in search of something. So the loss of Mrs. World set me on a search of purpose of life. Knowingly, unknowingly, subconsciously, I was in a search. I wanted lot many answers because I was left with number of questions. Even after preparing so much, even after giving my 100%, where did I fall short? Why I couldn't make it? And I had list of answers with time, with experience. Today, what I am doing is I'm trying to implement all these answers in the best way possible so that no other woman in India is again, who again ends up with such questions, which even after losing, with no idea where did she fall short. So yes, losing taught me so much, and hence I came up with this whole concept of Mrs. India INC.
I want to ask you, you know, it takes more than just confidence and resolve. There are large event management companies and corporations, experiential management companies. They're the ones who go after, you know, IPs and go after large pageants of this stature and, you know, dynamic. What prompted you, or what gave you that impetus to go and actually bid for you know, Mrs. India Inc., because at the end of the day you have to get the rights from the world body, isn't it? And you are the
Yes,
official,
yes,
you are the official rights and IP holder for India. So talk to
yes.
me about that. What was your pitch when you went to the Mrs. World authorities?
Um, well, I would start with my dream, my urge to win the Mrs. World crown, because obviously things will only fall in place when you're passionate enough, when you're driven enough. And when I came back with this lost, I realized the urge to get Mrs. World crown in India was still strong, was still fiery. And that's what exactly helped me. That's what pushed me. Talking about the pitch, fortunately, even the Mrs. World organization was looking for someone who's young, who has good plans, who has things in place. And that's when, so 2016 was the year when I represented India. And since I got to know that they are in search of a new director, 17, I pitched. It took 2 years for me to get things on place. But by 18, fortunately, I was the national franchisee, the national director of Mrs. India World. And 2019, we had a first season. So when we talk about Mrs. World, it's more about, it's not very commercial. It's not very grandeur, but it's more about the ethics, the concept, the core wisdom and intelligence that they are looking for. Because we are married women, they are not looking for the models, but they are looking for an inspiration. They are looking for the role models. These ladies, they come from different countries. They represent the married women of their country. They represent their family. They represent their society. So the whole concept is completely different when we compare Mrs. with Miss. And when we talk about big commercial events, big grandeur events, you will majorly see this in the Miss category. So yes, that's how things started falling in place, and that's how I ended up having this national directorship of my country.
That's very interesting that you would say that in the Mrs. India pageant, you're representing your family and not just you as an individual. Okay, these have been exciting times for you despite the lockdown, despite the pandemic. In January of this year, 2021, you went ahead and actually had the Mrs. India pageant. And this happened in an exquisite resort in Daman. And you must have been very, very happy with the result. Would you take us through the winners, the runners up, and of course your eminent jury? And it takes a small army, doesn't it, to run a pageant? So, your coaches, your experts who chipped in and pulled in to make it such a success, Mohini.
So the story, I would like to narrate it as a story because it
Sure.
started in a very funny way. We were all set to start with our on-ground auditions in the month of April. All the places were blocked. Everything was on place. The tickets were booked. The team was all on board, ready to fly. And then suddenly we come across, by the end of March, we come across this weird lockdown and we had no idea till when are we locked in a house. And by the month of June, July, we decided to start with a virtual audition because we couldn't drag it anymore. Ladies were waiting. They were equally curious and excited, and we did not want them to lose their spark. That's when, by the end of July, we started our virtual auditions, which worked very well. And with time, we realized that virtual auditions worked much, much better. They were much, much beneficial for both the parties, for the contestants and for us as well, because we
Wow.
could spend a good quality time with each contestant. All the judges were very happy. The contestants were very happy, like how we are talking now one to one. So it was a beautiful experience having this virtual audition. And not everyone is very familiar to technology. Till lockdown, I think we weren't that familiar to technology. But yes, with time, we managed pretty well. We had shortlisted good number of contestants. Now, again, the training comes into the picture because we have best of the mentors who train these ladies. So there are different areas we work on. These are communication, grooming and etiquettes, your ramp walk practice, your fitness, your diet, your skin, your smile. So we have like all the mentors. They had to start the training, and again, the on-ground training was very difficult for these ladies to come from different corner of India. And by August, September, we were not on the peak, but yeah, situation wasn't very well. And hence, we continued with a virtual thing. We started a virtual training. Otherwise, we have a training for 2 weeks, but thanks to this lockdown, we had the training lasted for 2.5 months. By December end, by mid-December, we got done with the training, and that worked so well because this batch of contestants were the best batch we ever had.
Wow.
They gave their 100%. There were only doctors who were working. Otherwise, there were all the ladies, they were 100% focused on their training. They were very competitive, and they knew they were like on point. They knew everything, and they gave their 100%. बोलते ना ज्यादा distraction or diversion था नहीं वो time पे. I am not very sure if I'll be able to have this amazing batch of contestants ever again. But yes, I am definitely going to continue with this virtual training. And then, yeah, things started falling in place, and we were quite positive as Jan came in. We took this risk. And to let you know that Mrs. India INC was the first national pageant that happened on ground. And we were also very much appreciated by international bodies because it was the
Wow.
first Mrs. pageant that happened in the world. So everything went very well. Thanks to my team, we had a team of 50 on ground. And talking about my judging panel, my Soha Ali Khan is the brand ambassador of Mrs. India Egg, and it's very easy for us to relate with her, for her to relate with this brand, because she is like a perfect example for all of the married women. So she was very happy. It was almost for everyone, it was a first event, first on ground event. So Sohali Khan and Masumi Mewawala, a finale designer, who designed 60 outfit, beautiful outfit for all the contestants. They were looking ravishing on stage. Um, the reigning Mrs. India World, Dr. Rashi Jain, and yes, Caroline Jury, the reigning Mrs. World 2020. Well, she had her own story because for her, traveling from Sri Lanka to India was a very difficult and a long process, but we somehow managed. And yes, this was a beautiful judging panel. Vivek Oberoi was representing Cancer Patients Aid Association. So Cancer Patients Aid Association is an NGO partner. And we, even in this difficult situation, even in this unique year, we managed to raise the fund of 50 lakhs for cancer affected kids.
Wow.
So this is the second year we have raised this good amount. So yeah, we all were very happy the way things went. Had our own hurdles, had our own obstacles that we came across, but yes, as a team, we managed things pretty well, and it turned out to be one of the best event, I would say.
Lovely. Many kudos to you and your hardworking team. So, who won? Who was the first runners up, and who's the second runners up? And what do they get apart from being crowned Mrs. India? What is the pageant that they will represent the country in internationally, Mohini?
So the biggest earning that they get out of this pageant is the self-discovery and the self-transformation. And it's not only winner, it's each contestant, each and every one who goes through this journey. They discover themselves, they transform themselves completely, and they find the best version of themselves. And not only contestants, I would say, even me, myself, each year, each day in this whole process, with this bunch of strong women, it's a completely different experience from audition till finale till the crowning moment. Now, talking about the winner, Mrs. India World title winner of 2020 is Navdeep Kaur, who will be representing India at Mrs. World. And she will now be thoroughly trained and groomed for her world platform, because now obviously the international competition is much tougher, it's very difficult. And talking about India, I feel that we have best of the experts compared to all other countries. That's what I believe. We are vouching on her, we are quite confident. Talking about first runner up, Anupreet Kaur, Dr. Anupreet Kaur, she'll be representing India at Mrs. Universe. And Wing Commander Shruti Chauhan, a second runner-up, she'll be representing India at Mrs. Galaxy.
Lovely. That's really wonderful. And your eminent panel of experts, instructors, who really rallied around you to help you with all these workshops and training sessions. Let's have a big salute to them.
Thank you so much. They did an amazing job. Mickey Mehta, Suman Agarwal, a dietitian, Audrey Da Silva, who was Miss Goa in 2017. She's a grooming head. She's a grooming expert. Urmi Barua was a fitness expert who herself won the second runner-up title last year. And Shivangi Malatia. So we work on these, as I said, we work on all the areas, we work on all departments. And yeah, I've had the best batch of contestants this year. I had the best team of experts also. And I'm so glad to have them all.
This is actually a question for anybody who's watching or listening to this, and they're married and they want to give Mrs. India a shot. How does one reach Mrs. India INC? What are the qualities you're looking for, and how can they apply for subsequent editions of the pageant, Mohini?
I always say you don't need to be very sure, because we all start with blank slate. We
Sure.
all start being lost. But if you have that wish, if you have that dream, just take that one step. Just register yourself. That's all I would say. Just register yourself. Our website is www.mrsindiainc.org.
We'll
You
just go
can
slow on that again. www.mrsindiainc. That's one word. MRSINDIAINC.org. Yeah, great. Continue.
yes. Thank you. And you can also connect to us on social media platform @Mrs. India INC.
That's great. So all you ladies out there wanting to give it a shot, you just go for it. Take that first step. And really, it must be so empowering for married women. I mean, you've been there yourself. Uh, you know, Marriage, in some cases, motherhood. Some cases, these ladies are working women, others are homemakers. And it must be immensely empowering for them just to participate in this competition. What are the kind of comments that you hear from people when they finish the pageant? Do they come and thank you, and how do they express what they're going through and how they've evolved?
We do come across such situations, such cases where we find it really difficult to identify our contestants from the day of audition to the day of finale. That's the kind of transformation they go through. And while these contestants, they be a part of Mrs. India World, they have to be with us at least for 10 days for the finale. There are so many ladies who, for the first time, they leave their kids behind with the family. Their kids learn for the first time how to be on their own. The family, there are so many things that family learn, especially the fathers. They start spending maximum time with their kids. So it's not only a journey that a female covers, but I think the whole family covers. And yes, not only females, but the husbands, the in-laws, they all come to us happily, and they actually cheered for the winner. They look forward for India to win the world's crown, and they're extremely happy to see their daughter-in-law or to see their wife who's more beautiful now, more groomed, more wiser, and ready to take on the world.
Mohini, what are your large scale goals as far as being founder director of Mrs. India Inc. is concerned? Uh, it's obvious that one of them has got to be to see a Mrs. India becoming a Mrs. World. And your focus must be completely geared towards that, because the day that happens, then it really validates what you're trying to do at an India level when an Indian lady goes and conquers the world.
Right. So right now we've been doing very well with tier 1 and tier 2 cities, but I really aim to reach out to every corner of India, every village of India, and the rural areas, because these are the women who dream, but then sometimes they really don't get a chance. Technology has been so advanced today that it's easy for us now to reach out to them, give them that one chance where they can take that step, because I feel sometimes the real talent lie in these villages, in these corners of India. So I really aim to reach there. That's my long-term goal for now. And make every woman believe in her dream, take that one step, believe in her dream, and I'm sure they're going to achieve it.
You're right. I mean, the difference between an underprivileged life and a privileged life could be a pageant. If you know, one of the Miss India winners this year, her father was an auto rickshaw driver. I mean, she was not from privilege, at least as far as wealth is concerned. But she
Yes.
dreamt and she worked hard at it. And I'm sure you see that in a lot of your contestants. They
Yes, yes,
perhaps they
absolutely.
don't perhaps they don't all come from great privilege, but as long as the drive is there, you're there to help them.
Yeah. And it's not easy for everyone to dream. It takes a lot of guts. And
True.
if there is someone out there who's dreaming, who believes in herself, then she definitely deserves a chance.
Is there a woman that you find inspiring? Somebody who you look at and say, wow, she's achieved a lot, and she could be my go to person in terms of ideals.
Um, Honestly, I'm being very, very honest, but each contestant of mine, they teach me something someday. That's how I started
Wow.
my whole conversation. I was talking about my second runner-up. She's a wing commander. My 80% of contestants are doctors. My 10%, 5 to 10% are homemakers, and they are so beautiful. They handle their life so beautifully, their family so beautifully. I learn from each one. So it's very difficult for me to highlight one female, but if you ask me, I'm a big fan of Priyanka Chopra. She being from a pageantry industry and achieving some impossible things that we could even think of. But yeah, I'm a big fan of my all my contestants too.
Lovely, and I see your contestants saying the same thing one day. Maybe they're already saying it. Just
Yeah.
like you picked out PC, they probably say Mohini Sharma is inspiring. Mohini, thank you very very much for talking to us and being on the She Slays Women's Entrepreneur Special. As a former Mrs. India, now founder director of Mrs. India INC, I wish you and your team all the best and stay happy and healthy. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Rishi. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.